Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett here from sunny Cyprus and welcome to this tutorial. Now this tutorial is for the educators, not for the students this time round. This is for educators that want to apply or nominate themselves to be recognized as an MIEE, a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert. A fantastic recognition if you get it. Now this time round, the nomination process for both those which are already MIEEs and want to renew their status, or those applying for the first time, the process is exactly the same. And not only that, it's been simplified. So that's fantastic news. Now, this tutorial, you can see this is a complete tutorial, and basically that means I'm going to walk you through step by step for somebody who has never applied or nominated themselves as an MIE, somebody who does not even have their Microsoft Learn account yet. They're starting from the very beginning. If you have your Learn account, or if you're a returning MIE, you can use the timestamps in the description of this video to jump to the point of interest for you. However, I am going to stress one thing. Make sure you watch the part at the beginning about creating the Learn account, because I'm going to go over two very important points about your Microsoft Learn account. One is to make sure that your privacy settings are not set to private, and the other one is to make sure you have a personal account linked to your Learn account, so you don't lose your Learn account if you move schools. So, as I said, this is a complete tutorial. We're going to go over absolutely everything from your Learn account, creating an account, to completing what tasks or learning paths and modules you need in Microsoft Learn, and then looking at creating your account in the nomination process, and then actually submitting your nomination. So let's get started with the first part. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the Microsoft Learn website. And the easiest way to find that is from your browser. You can look for Microsoft Learn, and then when you search for that, let's just accept this. I'm using a private window. So the first one that comes up is Learn Microsoft. That's the one that we want, the one with the little Microsoft logo there. Click on that and it will take you to Microsoft Learn. I'm just going to accept these cookies up here. And whether you're signing in for the first time or not, or you haven't got an account, you're going to click on the sign in button up here. Now, when you do that, it's going to open up the authentication window here, where you're going to put your school account. And you're going to sign in with that. So this is a dummy account that I've made. I don't have a Microsoft Learn account with this, so I can show you the process. And as soon as you sign in, if you already have an account with Microsoft Learn, then it will open up in your profile. If you don't, you're going to see a window like this. It's saying how you're signed in. You're signed in with this account. And what it's saying is straight away that it's strongly recommended that you also connect a personal account to your profile in Learn as well. And what does that mean? You need to have a personal Microsoft account as well. Doesn't cost you anything. It's a free account, but you need to set one up and link it to your Microsoft Learn account. And the reason is this: because you're signing in with your school account, if you leave that school and you don't have access to your email anymore, then you will not be able to sign in, and you will lose all of your achievements, your badges, everything that you've done, all the modules that you've passed, all the learning paths. You're going to lose access to all of those, and there's no way of getting them back. You must have another personal account linked with your Learn account. So you can do that straight away from here by going to Next, and it will give you here. So I'm just going to complete my profile here. So this is your display name. I'm going to leave that as Nick Pup, and I'm going to show you how to link an account in a second. Go to Next. Here you're going to put your contact email for notifications, your country, region. So again, you only do this once when you're creating your account. I'm in Cyprus. Please agree to the privacy statement. Okay, that is the privacy statement. Next. Okay, and then you're in here, it says you're all set, you have successfully created your profile, consider the following. And these are things that you can go have a look at. I'm just going to go to view profile. So once you've created your account with Microsoft Learn, you're going to see a window like this. I have 0 achievements yet. I have 0 experience points. You can see that here. And at the top here, this is the important section where your profile picture can go. You can add the profile picture. It's actually got my initials right now. You can access your profile and your settings. Now, this is where you need to keep in mind 2 very important points. The first point is this one. If I go to settings, and I now go to privacy settings here on the left, let's just zoom that in a bit. There we go. You want to go down here where it says privacy settings, and you need to make sure this is turned off. You don't want to have your private mode to on, because later when you create for your submission for your MIE expert nomination, you need to send the URL, and you're going to see that when you get to the part of the video where I'm actually completing the nomination. You need to have this private mode off, because you need to create a link to your achievements, and your achievements must be accessible by anybody without them having to sign into your account. So you need to have this turned off, very important. So from the settings, you go to privacy settings here and make sure that's turned off. By default, it is off. The next thing that you need to do, whether you have an account already or you have just created your account, is having another account linked to your Learn profile. And to do that, again, you're going to click on your profile picture at the top. You're going to go to settings, and over here on the left, you're going to go to account management. From account management, if you scroll right here where it's got account management, so you're going to find this section here, account management there. You've got here linked accounts. Now, linked accounts here, I don't have any linked accounts. And what you want to do, first, you're going to create another personal Microsoft account. And once you've created a personal Microsoft account, you can come here to add account, click on that, and you will sign in to your personal Microsoft account. And then that will link that account for you. I'm going to show you what a linked account looks like. So this is my personal account. You can see here, I've got my profile picture on the top right here. And if I click on that and go to profile, here where I've got not profile, sorry, settings. So click on that, go to settings. And then from here, if I go to account management, you can see here, I've got another account. This is my personal Microsoft account with my personal email address, my Gmail account, and this is linked to my account. So if I was to leave this school, then I can still access all of my achievements, access my Microsoft Learn profile using this account here. This is extremely important to do. Okay, so that's essentially your Microsoft Learn. You've set that up. If you've created your account, then the only other thing that you're going to be doing from here, apart from completing some courses, which we're going to have a look at, is you're going to be generating that achievements link, which we're going to look at again, but just to show you quickly from the profile, from achievements, here you've got all your achievements, and this is the URL at the top, which you're going to be copying. And I'm going to discuss that later on when we're going to be doing the application. But once you give this link to somebody else, as long as your private mode settings are turned off, then they will be able to see all of your achievements. And that's what the nomination process requires, so that they can see that you've completed the required courses. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, the next step in the process is to make sure you get access to this particular document. Now, I've got a link for you to download this document in the description of this video. So if you go in the description, you can download this document. I've also got a link to the SWAY, which is from Microsoft Education, and you can download the document from the SWAY, and there's some tips and some information here about the MIE expert nominations, the renewals, and everything about it in this SWAY. So if you want access to this SWAY, you can always you've got access to office hours here as well, but you can always access this as well from the link in the description in this video. But really what it is that you're looking for is this document. And why? This is the document you're going to be using to complete your entire nomination process, either as a renewable nomination or a new nomination. And once you've completed everything on this document, you can then move forward to actually completing the online nomination form. Okay, and I can't stress this enough. You really must complete this document first, because in the online nomination form, if you move forward and you make a mistake, you can't go back. You actually have to communicate with Microsoft Education and try and have them reset your nomination process. Okay, so it's really, really important you use this document. So what does this document contain? Well, it gives you information about the process, but then it gives you a step-by-step guide as to how to proceed with your nomination. And step one, it's got questions about you and about the learning paths and the modules you need to complete before you even attempt to complete your nomination process. So we can see here we've got the AI for educators, building reading fluency with Reading Coach, building cybersecurity resilience, and Microsoft Educator Academy. Now this one and this one, these are two learning paths. In other words, they both contain more than one module for you to complete. And once you've completed the required modules, and we'll see this in the next stage, in the next part of this tutorial, you will get the recognition of this learning path. These two here, these are modules. These are single modules. And once you complete that module, you've got the badge for that module. So that's going to be the next stage, but we'll just go and look at what's required for the rest of this nomination process. The next part, or the next section, these are the scored questions. And these are scored questions which are essentially either machine scored. So if you don't complete them or meet the minimum requirement, you will not be able to get to the next stage. So the first part is going to be about you, give information about you and the school you're at, what kind of students you teach, their ages, and what kind of devices. So you can go through this, answer honestly. There's absolutely no point lying in this section here, or any section. You have to answer honestly. There's no point getting a recognition for something that you don't use. Okay, so this is the about you, and then you get to this point here where it says, have you completed this learning path, AI for educators? You tick yes. If at any one of these you tick no, which means you have not completed the learning path, you will not be able to proceed to the next step. And then you have this point here where you have to go and get the URL of the achievements in your profile for Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn through the account that we made at the first part of this video. So you're going to need to go and get the URL and paste it in here. And we're going to look at that in a second. As soon as I do show you how to do the modules, then we're going to see how we create that link. Then you've got some machine scored questions. Here you need to basically answer how often you use some of these tools. If you don't use them, you say you don't use them. If you use them rarely, you say you use them rarely. You're just going to tick these off. You're not going to send this off this document. This is just so you can prepare your nomination process before you actually go to the online form. If you're not using any of these on a daily or weekly basis, then that's really going to impact the possibility of you being recognized as an MIEE. If you're not using these tools, the Microsoft tools, on a regular basis, then there's really no point being recognized as an MIEE. So again, if you're not using any of these on a daily or weekly basis, then your chances of being recognized are going to be quite a bit less. Okay, and this is machine scored. So if you don't meet the minimum requirements on this one here, you will not be able to move on to the two long form questions. And the two long form questions, essentially, this is long form, the first one, question A. You choose one of these tools, Microsoft tools here, any one, and then at the bottom you write a scenario where you've leveraged this this tool to support your role as an educator. Okay, and then long form question B is exactly the same process, but these are different tools. Okay, so here we're going to see things like the accelerators or insights, Intune for Education, Make Code, Minecraft Education. You choose one of these, and again, you write here how you've leveraged these tools to support your role as an educator. Now, both of these have a minimum 500 characters, not words, 500 characters and a maximum of 2,000 characters. And the second most important thing is you write this section here in your native language. You don't have to complete it in English. You can complete it in your own language. What you don't want to do is to give a response generated using AI. Please don't do that, because the tools will identify it and your nomination will be declined. Okay, you are able, Microsoft has their own tools, and they will be their own translation tools, and they will be able to translate what you have written in your native language in your words. I can't stress this enough. There is no percentage of AI which is acceptable. This has to be your answer on how you're using the tool and how you've leveraged it. It has to be it doesn't have to be fantastically written. It just has to give a good, clear explanation of how you used the tool. So please do not use AI. Okay, so that's this document. You need to get this document. You're going to complete everything on this document electronically. So you'll write your answers here and have everything ready. And once you've got everything on this document ready, your long form questions, you've ticked off whatever you ticked off, you've placed the link to your achievements here, then you're going to be able to go to the nomination process. But for now, let's go to completing these learning paths and the modules. Okay, so the first step is completing the modules and the learning paths. This is the first thing you have to do. If you don't complete these, then you just can't proceed with your nomination process. And this is machine scored, so it's machine checked. Essentially, you're going to give a link to your achievements, and if you haven't gained all the required achievements, then it just won't progress. So how do we do this? From this document here, you've got these 4 links. Now, I'm going to copy the link, because if I click on them, it's going to open the learning path or the module in my personal account where I've already completed them. So I want to show you what it's like if you haven't completed the module. So I'm going to start to show you what a module looks like. So let's do this one here. So I'm just going to right click on that, copy hyperlink, and I'm going to go to where I've got my account. This is my account that I generated with you guys at the beginning of this tutorial, the Student 4 one. I'm just going to click on a new tab and simply paste that link there. And we can see what this module looks like. So here's the badge for that module. Once I complete this module, I will get this badge. It gives me 1,100 experience points, and it tells me a little bit about it. And down here, we've got what I need to do to complete this module. And the module time, recommended time, it says here is 47 minutes. But it's not that most modules will not take you that required time. If you've already been using tools and you have knowledge in this area, then you can, in many times, flick through the different sections until you get to the module assessment down here. So I'm just going to do that with you now. So you would start this. I will click on, say, I'll either start or click on the introduction. You need to make sure that this thing here turns green. You can see that turning green there just now. That means I've already gone to the introduction. I can read through the introduction and then go to next. Now, there you go. That's turned green. And now I can look through this module, this part for this module. Now, anything which I completed, once it turns green, if I, let's say, go back, we can see I've completed these 2 steps for this module. So you can start a module, leave it halfway through, come back to it at a later point in time when you sign into your account. It makes no difference. When you go to this module, you can see you've got this partially completed. So I can then continue from here, wait for that part to turn green, and then I can read through this. And you can see why it says 47 minutes. And if you don't know some things about what effective password use is, so on and so forth, then read through this. This is some really good learning modules. I've learned a lot from these. just go to next. And as you go to next, you will essentially at some point get to this point here. We just take you there. You will get to the learning, the module assessment. And once you get to the module assessment, this is a multiple choice. You need to get 70%, from what I remember, to get to pass this part of the module. So these are multiple choice. You submit your answers, and if you get it wrong, then you are able to retake it. So it's not a test where if you get it wrong, you can't do it again. You can retake it. What you don't want to be doing is just jumping to the assessment, doing it again and again and again and again, because there is a point at some point will lock you out and it won't let you do the assessment until you wait an X period of time, or I think a day. I can't remember which it is. I've never actually had to get there myself. So yeah, what you want to do as soon as you've done all of these modules and they are all ticked and the summary, you will get the badge. So let's see what a learning path looks like. So that's a module, okay? If we go to the learning path, this one here is a learning path. So I'm going to right click on this, copy the hyperlink and bring this into my browser. I'm just going to paste that in there. So this is the badge for the learning path for AI for educators. And essentially to get this badge, you need to complete 4 modules. This is the first one, just like the previous one. This is another one, this is another one, and this is another one. So I need to complete all 4 of these. You see, I can just do any one I want. You don't have to do them in any particular order. You don't have to complete one to get to the next one. But what you do need to do is you need to complete all 4 of them. Every time you complete a module, you will get the badge for that module. And once you get all 4 of those badges, you will get the badge for the learning path. So again, the process is exactly the same. You choose this module. This one's rated at 1 hour and 5 minutes. There are 9 units. And again, you've got the module assessment. Once you've completed all of this, everything is ticked. You get your experience points. You get your badge. Then you're good to go. Okay. Now, and then you can do the next one and then the next one. So once you've done all of this and you have gone through the 2 learning paths, which are this one and this one, which have a number of modules, and the 2 modules, then you're good to go. And good to go basically means that you have this in your account. So let me see what I've got here. There you go. So this is an account where I've already completed all the required learning paths and the required modules. So how do I see what I've completed? As soon as you sign into Microsoft Learn, at the top where you've got your icon, your profile picture, let's say, you can click on it and you can go to profile. From your profile, you can see I've got here 13 badges and 2 trophies. Now, this has always been a little bit tricky for some people to navigate. So here we go. From this page, you want to go to achievements on the left. When you go to achievements, you've got the pages, modules, learning paths, courses, plans, challenges, and other. The 2 that you're looking at essentially are modules. And you can see here, I've completed all the modules that I was required to complete for the learning paths and the other ones. And I know that because I've got the badges. If I go to learning paths, I've got the 2 learning path badges here. And it's got here AI for Educators and the Microsoft Educator Academy. And that's exactly what I needed to complete. There you go, AI for Educators and the Microsoft Educator Academy. And I also have these 2 here in my modules. So if I go to my modules section here, I can see the Build Cybersecurity Resilience in K-12 and the Build Reading Fluency with Reading Coach. That's these 2 here. So the next step, once you have completed all of the learning paths and the modules in Microsoft Learn, you need to generate the link to your achievements. And this is where it is important that from your profile, you go to settings, you go to privacy settings. In the privacy settings, you make sure that private mode is switched off. It is not on. Okay, we need to make sure of that, and you're going to see why now. And the other thing which I told you at the beginning when we were setting up or creating a learning path, you also need to make sure in your account management, I'm going to say this again, because I know so many educators that have put in so much work and effort into completing modules and learning paths, and they lost everything because they moved from one school to another and they didn't have another account linked, a personal account. So from your account management, you need to make sure you go to account management here, and here where it says linked accounts, you need to add another account, a personal Microsoft account. Simply create a personal Microsoft account. Once you've created it, then you can click on add account and you can add the username and the password for that personal account. And that will display here in your linked accounts. And what that does, if you don't have access to your school account anymore, that's fine. You will still have access to all your achievements through your personal account. So that's really, really important. Okay, so what's the next step? We've completed the courses, we've got all the badges, we've got the learning paths. The next thing is we click on our profile picture. We then go to profile. Here where we go to achievements, that's it. You stop there. Don't click on learning paths. Don't click on anything else. Look at the tab at the top. It should say achievements right up here, the URL. And what you want to do, you want to click in the URL at the top and then click again so you get the whole path, the HTTPS as well. Select all of this, copy it, and we're going to put this in our document so it's ready when we're going to do our application. So where's the point that we want that? Here it is here. Here it says, share the URL to your achievements to learn here in Learn Here. So I'm going to put my link there. And it says here, select your profile picture, select achievements, copy that URL and paste it here. And that's what I've done here. Now, why did I say about the privacy settings? Because of this. If I open a private window here now, so I'm not signed in, and I paste that link, I'm able to see without signing in, and Microsoft as well, or the machine scored AI, let's say, when it's assessing your application, it will be able to access all of your modules and it will see that you've completed all the required modules. It doesn't want the link to the learning path because the learning path essentially you get after completing a certain amount of modules, and these are completed here. Okay, so if you can open a private window, paste your link, and when you paste your link, you can see all your account. Okay, without being signed in, you can see all of your achievements. You're okay. You're good to go with that. Right, once you've done that and you have completed the rest of this document, we can now go to the next stage, which is creating our account or signing up for the nomination platform. So let's go do that now. Okay, so let's look at the nomination platform. Now, you can find the link to the nomination platform from the Sway. Again, this Sway is in the description of this video, so you've got the link here. But what I've done, I've also modified my version of this document and I've included the link in the document as well. So you've got everything in one place rather than going from the Sway to the document. And I've added it up right at the top up here where it says link to nomination platform, and you've got the link here. So where you've got all your nomination questions completed, you've also got the link to the nomination platform. So what I'm going to do, now you can simply just control click on this, but I'm just going to right click, copy the hyperlink because I want it to open up in this window here in the private window. And I'm just going to paste it there. Now, once you go to the nomination platform, you're faced with a login or sign up. Now then, if you are a returning MIEE, then you can just log in, and you log in with the username and the password, or your email and your password, which you've got registered with EduNominate. If you don't have, or if you're not returning MIE, then you just click on sign up. If you're not sure, then this is the process I will suggest for you. So I'm just going to click on login, and I know for a fact that this account that I'm using now does not have an account, so I'm just going to put my STU4. This is the account that I'm using now. And let's say I'm thinking my password is whatever random password I'm putting here, and I go to log in, and it says, right, wrong credentials or user does not exist. So how do I know if the user exists? Well, I can delete the password and I can say, forgot my password. And let's see, do I have an account with this? And it will say here, this user with this email does not exist. So I know for a fact I don't have an account with EduNominate with this email. So more than likely, you know, I would know if I'm a returning MIE or not. But what I do know is for sure that there is no account on EduNominate with this email. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign up. From here, you're going to enter your details, put your email in here. So I'm going to do the whole nomination process for you guys. You're going to put a password, make sure your password is secure. The password must contain at least one uppercase letter. Okay, so let me just change that and see if that works. And I need to put a character at the end. There you go. All right, so make sure you're using a secure password. Enter your name. Now, additional email address is always good to add another one. So I'm just going to put a random. Again, you want a personal account in there. Put your country. I'm, of course, from sunny Cyprus. State province. We don't have state provinces. School name. Junior and senior. I just put a random one there. I'm just going to put TJSS. Okay, organization name, if there's an organization, government funded or private school, whatever it is that your school is. I'm just going to say private school, and must be at least 5 carat TJSSS. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go click create. So you're going to add your details as should be there. Click on create. Give it a second. And here we go. Now you've got your user ID. Now this is an important ID to note down or have somewhere, because if you do face any issues at all with your nomination, or you get locked out of your nomination process for whatever reason, you're going to see why that can happen in a second. You want to refer when you communicate with whoever you're going to communicate with, make sure you add your user ID and your email together with your name and your details. So if you do have your ID, it's actually much easier for them to help you out. Okay, so make sure you have that information stored somewhere. Okay, so this is the nomination platform, and you can see if you scroll down here, you can obviously modify your details by clicking on the update profile. And this is the MIE expert application form, or the nomination form. It also gives you here the learning parts and the modules that you need to have completed first. And this is where you're going to click to start the survey. Down here, if you are the one that actually does the completion for your showcase school, or you're going to be applying for showcase school status, and you're the person who is the lead of the school, then this is where you would go to start the survey for that. But we're not going to be looking at that in this tutorial. So from here, we can now start our survey. Remember, you should have completed this document here first, so you can copy the details. I'm going to be doing an application with some false information here, but I'm not going to submit it because I don't want to waste the time of the poor people in Microsoft Education, which have to go through all the application forms. So let's start with the survey. Okay, so we're logged into our EduNominate platform here. We're going to start the survey for the MIE expert application, and we can do that by scrolling down and clicking on Start Survey. Remember, you should have completed the document with all the required questions first, so that you can make sure all of this is ready and you're not wasting time when you're doing the application and then just running the risk of moving forward and leaving things out, and then you can't go backwards. So I can't stress this enough. So I'm going to click on Start Survey, and here is my survey. So the first thing it does, it tells you, have you completed all of these learning paths and the modules? If you haven't, don't even move forward. Make sure you've done that. Look in the timestamps of this tutorial to see how you can do that. So if you have, you're going to click on Start Survey. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to enter your personal information in here. Okay. And some information about you. So I'm just going to fill this in because I said I want to make this a complete tutorial. Okay, my main email address in this one is stu4. I can't use my actual one because then it's going to say, well, it's already being used. Make sure you've got an alternative email. That's just a fake one there. Okay, school name. Organization name. Well, if you do, this is not a requirement. So if there is an organization name, you can put it there. Organization type. I'm going to say this is a private school. Home address, city, only the city. So the city here for me is Nicosia. State or tertiary, we don't have states or tertiaries inside, and you can see this isn't a required answer. It doesn't have that little star. This one here is your country. And of course, I am in sunny Cyprus. School organization address. Here you're going to put the address of your school. Only the road and the number. Enter the physical building number, street name, and unit number if applicable. So I've only got a street number, a street name, and a street and the number. That's all I need. I want the organization address, city, again in Nicosia. State tertiary we don't have. Country is Cyprus. The school organization website. I always request that people always put the protocol as well. So http:// What type of learners do you work with? Again, just answer honestly here. So I mainly work with secondary school. What is your job title? I'm just going to put ICT teacher. Current role in your organization. So I'm just going to put here, I'm directly responsible for teaching K-12. If you've got any other roles, you can click multiple roles. For example, I'm also the chief information officer, and some other ones, but whatever is applicable to you, just tick that off. What subjects do you teach? Well, I teach computing, computer science. If your subject is not here, for example, let's say you teach something like economics or business studies, and that's not here, you can just click on other instead. Okay. And if you teach multiple, then select all the ones that you teach. There's no right or wrong answer here. What technology do your students, learners primarily use? Okay. So here, for me, essentially it's, laptops. We actually have tablets. They're like Chromebooks, but they're not Chromebooks. They're Windows based, so they're Windows devices. But they also have shared devices, and shared devices will mean if there's a computer lab that they use, if there are any other shared devices that they may use apart from their personal devices, if they use mobile phones, then you tick everything that is being used. What tools, devices do you regularly use regularly? So again, here you're being honest. I mean, for me, regularly, one of the most regular ones for me is going to be Microsoft Teams. We use Windows devices all the time because we are fully Windows based, and 365. What tools, devices does your school organization use? Again, the whole school uses 365, Microsoft Teams, and Windows devices for me. If you use other devices, that's absolutely fine. Just be honest with that. And that's the first step. Now, all of these should have been inside your document here. And you can see these questions are exactly the same as the ones in the nomination process. So you should have, ticked these off so you know exactly what you're answering. Now, as soon as you click save or next, for example, if I click next, okay, it goes to this one. If I go to previous now, you can see these. Oh, no, I am allowed to edit still. Okay, so I am still allowed to edit. If I go to previous, this isn't the case with all of them. So I'm just going through all of this with you just to be safe. So I'm just going to see how far backwards I can go back. I think if I click save, I'm not going to be able to go back. Let's do that. Click on save. Yes. Click OK. If I go to, can I change? Yes, I can. If I go to next, This is and let me go back to previous. I can still change. Okay, so that step is still available for change. We're going to see when it's not. So I'm going to go to next. And of course, if you save and you leave and come back, you can continue, but it's not suggested. This is why we complete this document first. You want to complete your nomination process in one go. Okay, so the next parts of the questions are going to be these ones here. Have you completed those learning paths? And here they are. So you should have completed these. If you click on no on any one of these, I don't think it's going to let you go forward. I don't want to mess this one up because I want to complete this tutorial. But if you haven't completed these, then there's no way you can move forward. Now, this here is where you put your URL. Okay, and you've copied your URL in your Word document. Here it is here. Now, if you haven't and you want to access it, then I'm going to show you again quickly. From Microsoft Learn, when you log into your account, let's just move somewhere else. I'm going to go to my profile. From profile, I'm going to click on achievements, and then I'm going to copy this URL here. So here's the question. If I copy this URL, actually, let me get a different one. I've got this one here. So this account here, I hope I don't mess this up totally, but here we go. Here's it. Now, this account here doesn't have any achievements at all. Okay. Now, I'm just going to copy this one and I'm going to paste that link in here. Let's see what happens. It's checking. And if I do go to next, watch this. It says not passed. This means I have not completed any of these. If I had completed 2 of them or I had one missing, it would tell me which one is missing. Is that an issue now? Well, no, because I am able to go and complete in Microsoft Learn that particular learning path or that module, make sure I've got all the modules. And once I've done that, this will automatically update. Okay. In my case, I don't want it. This is from a different account. So I'm going to delete that one, go to the correct account, copy my achievements modules tab here. Let's copy that in now. Oh, where are we? And when I put one that does have all the modules, let's have a look. It moved forward. So if I go to previous, can you see that has allowed me to move forward? And that's allowed me to move forward because it has all the modules. But notice this now. As soon as I went to the next one, I cannot change my answers here. If I go to the previous one, I cannot, or can I? Yes, I can still change my personal details. So that's good. I wasn't sure about that. So now I know. But I cannot change my status as far as the learning requirements are concerned because I've got that. So once you're able to go to the next stage, you're on this stage. How you use Microsoft tools. So from here, again, you should have all the answers completed in the Word document. But again, let's go through this together. How often do you use Copilot personally or professionally? Well, professionally, I'm going to say I use it weekly together with, I don't know, helping me get ideas on lesson material. So I'm going to say weekly there. Share your teaching, learning knowledge with your colleagues. Well, I do that on a daily basis because I'm a trainer, but you don't have to put daily there. So if you do this monthly, then you do this monthly. That's fine. But remember, as an MIE expert, you should be supporting other educators as well. How often do you use Microsoft Teams in an instructional environment? Daily, because we run everything through Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Learning Accelerators is an instructional environment, so on and so forth. So how often do you use any of these? Well, here I'm going to put here between monthly and rarely. I teach ICT, so I don't really use, although I do use Reading Coach in a different way than it's actually intended. But I also teach, let's say, presenter. Where's the presenter one here? Reading Coach, Progress Search Coach. Search Coach I use as well with assignments, and Speaker Coach with helping students to basically improve their public speaking with PowerPoint. So I do use that monthly, but I could put this rarely. I'm just going to leave that as monthly. It's actually put 2 there, so it's not it's not actually letting me change that now. So if I just go to previous and next, this is why you had to complete that Word document, because there are some fiddly things. There you go. So that's gone to monthly. How often do you use Microsoft Forms instructional environment? Again, I'm going to put, let's say, monthly, between monthly and weekly. I'm going to put monthly here. How often do you use OneNote? I'm going to say here weekly. Well, actually daily, because I've got a OneNote where I keep all of my notes, everything, and I update this. Meetings and everything goes in my personal organization for OneNote. How often do you use OneNote Class Notebook? Well, we use this at least weekly. How often do you use Minecraft Education with learners? I'm going to say monthly. I do it as modules for Key Stage 3, so years 7, 8, and 9, and a little bit with my A-level computer science students as well. So that's that. I've answered these questions, and I'm going to go to next. So let's see if I can go back now. Now I'm on the long form questions. This previous section here. And you can see this section now, once you've completed it, you cannot modify it. Let's see if you can still modify your personal details. So you can't modify this one, but you can modify your personal details. So that's fine. All right. So remember, it's really important that you've completed everything in that Word document and you copy everything over, because you can see now you cannot make changes. If you do need to make changes, you need to contact, you should know where you're going to contact me. You need to contact Microsoft Education. You need to get in touch with people which are going to help you reset. And they're basically going to reset the entire survey, the entire nomination. Now, from here, you're going to select the one application from here, and this is where you're going to put your long answer question. Now, be very careful here. Once you've selected your item, let's say I'm going to do Microsoft Teams. I can now start writing my response here, whatever my response is, and that's fine. If I'm going to write my response directly here, I don't need to worry about anything. But we said, you can see here, I've got 1,879 characters or symbols left. This is characters, not words. Now, we said you should have your answers already typed in your Word document. So let's say I've got an answer here. I'm just going to put some random text here. Okay, I'm just going to copy this a little bit more. Okay, so let's say this is my response, which I've got ready in Microsoft Word. If I copy this, copy with Control-C and paste it here, I want you to be careful, because it says here, if you are pasting a personal response from your Word document, please click in the box and manually type at least one. That should be at least one character. It says on character. That should be one character. This is part of our automated checks. And what does this mean? So let's say this finished with a full stop. After I copy paste it, I need to at least type one thing in this box. It could be a space. That's fine. It could be I delete that full stop and type it in manually. You have to type something manually which has not been copy pasted in. And the easiest way to do that is just at the end of the document, just press a space. Now, they need this so that the software that they use to read this text has to see that it's not just a copy paste. They need a character. I don't exactly know the ins and outs of how it works and why, but you have to put at least one character there if you've copy pasted your answer. Okay, so make sure you do that. Now, once you've done this and you click my answers are completed, I'm ready to proceed, you can now go to next. But as soon as you go to next, you cannot go back and edit this. It's locked. It's finished. Again, you're going to have to contact Microsoft Education, and you're going to have to give them the information with your user ID and your email. And there's going to be so many people that are going to mess up. You don't know how long it's going to take for them to be able to help you out, especially once they start getting so many applications in, and they're going to get a lot of them. They're not going to be able to keep on top of all of the requests for resets. So pay attention to that and make sure you're comfortable. You've finished your answers, and that is your final answer. Then you can go to next. It says, please answer all questions. What did I leave out? When you click next, all right, please answer all questions. Right, click to confirm you've checked your answer. Please, right, if I go to next, let's have a look. Have I left something out? This question is required. So I've clicked on, let's say, Microsoft Teams there. That's that. Let me just type a couple of spaces there. I'm going to click on save. Okay. I don't know why I'm getting this. So it's good that this is happening during the video. So if I just click on that again. So let's go back and move forward and see what happens. I don't know why that's come up because I don't think I've missed anything out. Oh, I tell you what it is. I think I have to have at least 500 characters. So let me just copy paste a few more. There you go. 429 left now. And I've got my space at the end. If I go to next now. All right, let's go previous. Then I go to next. Okay, I've got all of that there. That should be at least 500 characters. Microsoft Teams, we said. And then next. There you go. Okay, so yeah, if that happens, just go previous and then come back to it. Now watch, I'm on my long form question B. If I try to go to previous now, this is grayed out. I cannot make changes to this. I cannot change my mind. This is locked. Okay, so there's no going back for long form question A. So if I go to my next one, this is the next one. And now I need to choose a different tool and give another response, 500 characters. And those characters, minimum 500 characters, maximum 2000, and give you a long answer here. And that answer should be inside your document here. You're going to copy paste it. And once you copy paste it, let's say this is my answer again. Control C. Okay, so that if you want to check how many characters in Word, select your document, and down here it says 190 of how many words of the selected. Click on that in the bottom left corner, click on it, and it will tell you the characters. So I've got 1084 characters, no spaces. With the spaces, 1273. The nomination actually counts the spaces as well. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that there. And I'm going to choose, I don't know, whichever one I want from here, Minecraft Education. So what are these? If you use Minecraft Education, then you can use that one. Immersive Reader, if you're using Immersive Reader, you can see these tools here are tools which are more on the accelerators like reading progress, math progress, search progress, speaker progress, insights in Teams. So if you do use insights in Teams to actually track student progress and see trend lines, Intune for education, if you're using Intune, MakeCode, Power Platform. So you need to choose one of these. Reflect, if you're using Reflect, that's what you're going to base your answer on. Again, once you've done this, and if you've copy pasted, you need to go to the end and type one character, at least one space. You have to type that character. Click on my answers complete, and I can now go to next. I don't want this to be submitted, so let's have a look. There you go. Now you get your terms and conditions. Okay, if you agree to the terms and conditions, you click on this, yes, and click on submit. I'm not going to click on submit because that just means that the Microsoft Education team, they're going to get another application which is full of garbage and they're not going to like me too much. So yeah, I'm not going to click on submit, but what will happen once you have submitted, I'm going to show you a screenshot of my one. You're going to get an email. And that email is going to confirm that your nomination is under review and that you've submitted. So let me just find out. I've got the screenshots here. So if you click on submit, you're going to get something like this. And it says that you've submitted. And it will also give you will see something like this as well afterwards. So when you sign back into the nomination platform, you will see that you only have the Showcase School one down here, because this one now, it says 2025-26 MIE Expert Application finished on review. Okay, what I am going to do also is down here where we've got in the document with the modules and the learning paths that you need to complete, I'm also going to add in this section here the link to Microsoft Learn, just to make it easier for you to access Microsoft Learn. Everything can be accessible directly from this document, the nomination platform, Microsoft Learn, and the learning paths with the learning modules. So overall, this nomination process has been streamlined. It is a lot easier. However, there are things that you need to be careful about. For example, just a quick recap on these. First of all, you need to complete the learning paths and the modules. You need to make sure that your Microsoft Learn account the privacy settings is not set to private. And you also need to add a personal Microsoft account to your Microsoft Learn account. In case you leave the school where you're at, you don't have access to your school account, you will not lose all of your achievements in Microsoft Learn. So that's very, very important. The next thing is make sure that you complete all of your questions and add the links to your achievements from Microsoft Learn in the Word document, because then you've got everything in one place. Then once you've created your account, once you signed into your account into the nomination platform, then you can simply have your document next to you to complete all the answers, especially the simple answers of how often you use tools and the personal information. Please be careful, because once you move to one step, after you go to the step where you have confirmed that you have completed the modules and the learning paths and you've added your link to the achievements, then you're not able to go back to your previous questions apart from the personal details section. When you're filling in the long form answers, please be careful, because once you move over to the next one, you cannot go back and edit it. And also what you have to be very careful of is if you're copy pasting your answer from the Word document, you have to at least type one character from your keyboard in the text box where you are actually copy pasting your answer. Because if you don't, it may not read your answer, or it may think that it's AI. I don't exactly know how the process works, but you have to type at least one character. So at the end of your text, just press a space bar. And that's essentially it. With your achievement code, if you get a fail like I demonstrated in this video, then don't worry about that. You can go and complete the module or the learning path that's missing, and it will update it, or you can just tell it to go back and then next, and then it will recheck your achievements and identify if you've got any missing or if it's completed. If you have completed everything, it will move on to the next section. So that's it. I hope you join me as an MIEE next year. It's a fantastic program. You meet so many people, you work with so many people, and you get help from so many other fantastic educators. It's a great program to be in. And as always, if you found this tutorial useful, you liked, make sure you like, and make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. Me, Nikos Pafidis from sunny Cyprus. Bye-bye.